Practicality here. Hope you all had a good week last week and are having a good weekend. I have decided to go ahead and do a bias video for the week ahead. More like for the rest, well, kind of longer term view, maybe for the rest of the quarter, but certainly for the next week. Kind of talk about just where the market's at, what my expectations are, what would invalidate that, and hopefully it's helpful for you all. So let's begin. We're starting with the dollar, of course. So if we just take a look back to July, this is weekly chart. Okay, so the dollar on the weekly chart has been extremely strong since July. Obviously you reached up into premium, and then we consolidated for a few weeks, and now, so basically what you've got is, just to break that down quickly, you have expansion here, and then you had consolidation here. Okay, and that lasted for a few weeks, and then what we got was a raid of one of the highs inside the consolidation, and last week gave a huge push down. So that's the weekly candle, and importantly, we closed down under the consolidation as well. So that's something to keep in mind. For me, whenever we have the market in consolidation, obviously, you know, the question becomes, what do we do out of that consolidation? Do we, let's see if I can get so here's my consolidation. Do we just simply break out, maybe retest and keep going? Do we false break, fall, and then go lower? Sometimes we go raid the high, raid the low, then go higher. So there's a few different scenarios, basically, is what I'm saying. It looks like this one here that we just had did a little run to the high and is now rejecting. But because we're still, it's still possible that this is a false break below, but we can at least say that because it closed weak, closed down here, there's quite some strength. So my expectations will be that we might expand further, and now to the downside. So that expectation is not based solely on what we see on the dollar. It's based on intermarket analysis. So we're going to go through multiple markets and build a thesis. But then we also need to be keeping an open mind about what can invalidate that, right? So if we just take a look at some of these levels, we have the previous month's high, it's actually September, sorry. September's high, September's low. Yeah, so we took out previous month's high, and then we are considering going for the previous month's low. So what you see here is an up candle that takes out the high, and then we go below that up candle. What does that make this candle? A potential, I had the wrong tool. A potential bearish order block. Okay, on the monthly chart. So that's something to consider. That's a pretty big call, and that's quite some distance away. However, unless we break higher and take out this high from November 1st, that's what I'll be kind of looking for. So that's dollar. And then in terms of what to expect next week itself, I haven't even looked at the economic calendar. Let me look at this real quick. Let's see what we got going on. Okay. Nothing too crazy. just the usual shenanigans. So I would pretty much expect a Tuesday, Wednesday high of the week. What I would like to see would be, a couple of days of not going too much further, and then we push higher, take out one of the highs, and then go lower. That's what I'd like to see personally. Okay, so just moving on. So obviously dollar is basically going to be the same as euro. We take a look at the weekly. Yeah, I mean, it's just strong. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just strong. You kind of got this order block here. Took out liquidity and led to breaks higher. You can even see how this is a weekly. You can even see how they are respecting the midpoint on that one. Yeah, just looks strong. So basically the same. Again, if we taking out this low, then all bets are off. And I won't be thrown off if they do a deep retracement, because this is quite inefficient here. That being said, they may only come back into these highs, these breakers. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, it looks strong to me for now. GU, yeah, same thing. I don't know if there's much point in looking at all the currencies, but it looks pretty similar. We can see that AU, Aussie dollar, was actually stronger first. I don't know if that's the right thing to say. Like it was showing strength even before dollar was really breaking down, because dollar only really started breaking down after Wednesday took out the previous week's high and rejected. So like late New York, actually, like London close timing, it started breaking down, but Aussie was pretty strong even early on Wednesday. Regardless, what this is telling me is that we have already sort of reached the objectives. So if you kind of look at this as what I've talked about in the past, as like expansion internal to external, this delivered to external last Thursday, so 2 weeks ago, and then has just been coming off of that. Once we closed above this down candle here, that validated this as an OB, and so it was really just strong from there. Yeah, this is just a bit simplistic, but that's just how it works. Okay, so New Zealand's been stronger, or about the same. I don't know what Aussie New Zealand looks like right now, but anyways, we keep going. Dollar CAD, we see, so this is the monthly chart. We can see that we took out previous month's high and rejected it rather hard. So it seems kind of funny to say that, considering they're only separated by a day, but then again, that's pretty much how it works. So took out that previous month's high, rejected hard. Looks to me like it might want to go for the previous month's low. And then if you look at that phenomenon, the same thing happened on the weekly candle here. So took out the weekly high and went for the weekly low. That was the objective on the week. And then we closed below it. So previous week's low, previous week's high. Right. So this was, once this order block here was validated by taking out the low, it was really just game over. Of course, sadly, I kind of missed it. I wasn't in this big drop, and I'm sad about it, but I learned my lesson. Now I can share it with you. Dollar CAD was really quite clear, I would say. Maybe the clearest of the majors, because, like I said, it took out that previous week's high. It had pretty much reached for objectives in terms of upside. So it takes out that previous week's high and then validates this order block right here. So if you go to that moment in time, from that moment, it's heavy. And then you might ask, like, what's your target? Well, you can see this is quite an inefficient push up, and we might reach for the previous week's low. So that's kind of what you would look to target. But again, once we validate this order block here, it looks quite weak. And so that was good trading, even holding through NFP. Okay, let's just keep going. So I'll skip over gold because I don't really know what's going on there. Oil as well. I think I don't really know what's going on with oil. It looks weak, obviously. It's at the lows. It doesn't look strong. It might be consolidating. But yeah. Okay, so everyone's favorite, the indices. So for me, my objectives for the indices have been met. They were all met already. And if you just look at, well, I won't say exactly what my objectives were. If you just look at this kind of as that internal, external idea, we had this weekly expansion. Okay, weekly, folks, weekly. Here's your internal fair value gap, internal liquidity, delivered to the external. And now what happens? We take out that order block. Okay. Or sorry, we take out that order block's high. So this order block took out the liquidity, and then we take out that weekly order block's high. Okay. So for me, we're strong. And in terms of upside objectives, I'll just say a lot higher. Like, I mean, I'm really kind of expecting all-time highs eventually over the course of maybe the next 2 or 3 months. And that's just because seasonal tendency, you tend to see a rally. Obviously, you need the market structure to support that idea. And in my opinion, it's beginning to support that idea. Now, I always want to be careful, right? I don't want to overinvest in my bias. And I just want to constantly pay attention to what would invalidate it. And something to keep in mind is that we had a pretty inefficient move up. That being said, like it's an expansion. So this would be, as ICT says, the elephant's foot in the pool, creating a huge move, but that move was inefficient. So there's a certain likelihood that we would come down and retrace some of this. Now, there was a moment earlier this year. What am I doing on the 4-hour chart? Sorry. There was a moment earlier this year, and this is like burned in my memory because I was tricked by it, where we expanded higher and did a deep retracement into that inefficient expansion. And it wasn't a bearish thing. It was simply a deep retracement. And then we went higher. And so I'm thinking one possibility is a deep retracement continues higher. That deep retracement would throw everybody off. And so I won't be bearish again until we take out this low, the very low, okay? We'd have to come all the way down there for me to get bearish. And I'm fine with that. If that means I'm going to miss a lot of shorts, it's fine. I don't really see what I need to see to go short, so that's cool. I'll be looking for long setups. If they're given to me, if they have confirmation, good. If not, then I'll just be waiting for nothing. It's fine. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing. So we can get rid of this. Right now we just have this order block. We have the beginning of an expansion. I'm trying to think how I can give you guys some targets for this. Yeah, I just think we'll go for the highs. I think we're going to go for 46.35 and beyond, potentially. If we don't, the caveat is if we don't reject it pretty much right away. Okay, reject this expansion right away. Because there's always the chance that maybe, NFP was a joke, FOMC was bullshit or whatever. There's always that chance. It's just that this all looks really strong to me. Okay, so we have fair value gap here. The NASDAQ on the weekly chart came down into the fair value gap. You see the body staying above it. That's a good sign. And same thing, order block, right? Order block here. Took out the liquidity, broke the high on the weekly chart. Okay, weekly chart. Weekly, that's a big deal. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, watch this area. In terms of what level specifically it'll reach for, I have no idea. Okay, no clue. We'll just have to see how it goes. Alrighty, and then targets would be, I mean, if you want to use that internal to external idea, then your target's up here, which is pretty much what I already said for ES. There and beyond, basically, would be the idea. So we shall see. Dow, also strong. I don't really want to look at Dow because I'm trying to think. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same. Okay. And then FTSE. I don't think anyone trades FTSE. I will say that FTSE looks the least bullish, so I probably won't even trade it. I'll just be looking at it, see what it does. DAX. About the same. I would say like the European indices. They can rally, and they will probably follow suit, but I wouldn't be as excited to trade them. Whereas the Nikkei, the Japanese indice, is way stronger than everyone else. So that's pretty cool to see. Everyone's bearish on the Japanese economy, and it's got the strongest indice, although the Nifty 50 might be stronger. Oh, I'm sure it is. I haven't even looked at it. Let's see. Nifty. Let's see. How is it doing? Yeah, it's pretty strong. Pretty strong, but in this moment in time, not as strong as the Japanese indice. Just because, like, the Nikkei has created this order block here, right? Same as the others on the weekly. It validated that, but Nifty has not done that, so not quite as strong. Okay, and then for Bitcoin, I'm expecting 40K and beyond. Well, 40K first, and then we'll see. But it can come down here before it does that, because this is all very inefficient. So it's very likely to me, in my opinion, I think it's likely that it comes down and fills in some of that space. But I don't know, because I don't trade Bitcoin, and I've been wrong a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope that helps your thinking. Like I said, I don't want to overcommit. It would be and the reason I'm saying that is because, like, it would be very easy for me to just be like, oh, it's going down, it's definitely bearish. But because because this is a consolidation, there's always a chance that it wants to come back and go the other way. I'll just say it like that. But once it gets way beyond it, then I think, yeah, we'll see lower prices. Okay? All right, bye-bye. Hope that helps.